I'm having a conversation with Professor Krishnan, my professor from Indian Statistical Institute, now work with Mu Sigma. Good morning. Tell me about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chennai, what was Madras at that time, in Mylapore, the heart of the Tambram community, Chennai.
Yeah.
And so near the Kapaleshwara temple, walking distance from there. I went to PS High School, went not to Subramaniam High School in Mylapore, near the Kapaleshwara temple, where illustrious people like A.R. Pathasarthi, etc. went. And then after that, I went to Vivekananda College, also in Mylapore, stronghold of the Tambram community. And I did intermediate there after school, and then 3 years of honors in mathematics.
Where did you do that?
Vivekananda College, same college where ISA stalwarts like A.R. Pathasarthi, Rangarao went, and Tata Institute stalwarts like Seshatri, Ramanan, etc. went. And so I was 20 when I finished that. When I finished that, and of course one doesn't know what to do after a maths degree at that time.
Right.
So getting a college job lecturer's job is not so easy. And my father was insistent that I wrote IAS exam, which I was not capable of passing. I was very sure about that. Then
was your father associated with the government?
He was a government officer in postal department all his life. So for him a government job is sacrosanct.
Yes, of course.
So I applied and I just wrote the first exam and then I backed out. There's no way I could.
How did you end up in ISI?
Anyway, at that time there were not many openings for further education and so on. Some of my classmates have suggested that that's one of the things we could try. So some of the competitive exams were IITs, etc. were out of the question. There were MTechs and such a maths honors person could do. And some of my seniors, like I said, K.R. Pathasarthi and had joined the ISI. That's one option. And they said you have to write a competitive exam, DBOSOS exams.
I see.
And so anyway, I applied, I took the test and then happened to get admission, not even an interview. Directly got an admission and so on. I was thrilled. My father was a little unhappy that I
was leaving town.
IAS exams, I go into some other course in a SPM subject.
Yeah.
But everybody else told him that this will lead to good jobs and so on, even government jobs.
I see.
So he let me go on. So it was an interesting experience. I go to the Madras Central Station. I booked a Howrah Mail, 2 nights, and I go into a compartment, and then my father told the fellows who were there, my son, his first time he's getting out of home, and he's going to Calcutta alone. Will you please look after him? Where is he going? To the Indian Statistical Institute. We are also going there. In that 8-seater, all of them were. My father felt very happy. So will you look after him? They said yes. So Setaraman and Raghurao and such, after holidays, I was going back. So got off our station, I didn't have to do anything. So they put me in one of the taxis, and then the moment I go there, Mr. Panesar, the warden, greeted me very warmly, unlike other people who had come. I was surprised why I am so special. My classmates or seniors who had already joined ISI were there. Told me, T Krishnan is a very good TT player.
I see. So Panesar was interested in TT play.
I thought he was my bag in the room, so let us play. So before I opened my case, I was already playing TT with Panesar.
So that was your introduction to ISI through TT.
Very friendly and very charm. First, you know how it is. First time I get out of home.
Yes, of course.
That independence and so on.
Yes.
There's something overwhelming. So
yes.
I was very overwhelmed. So I enjoyed it, even though the room was attached.
Yes, of course. We all lived
it's your own room.
Yes, yes. All by yourself.
Yeah. That's how I ended up.
Yeah.
And ISI was it's a different place at that time. It was throbbing with academic life and that. So many visitors. Now he is one of the first teachers of J. Roy. So he came and said, "My name is Yogavrta Roy." He said, and he wrote in Devanagari, Yogavrta Roy. He said, Yogavrta Roy. That was introduction to Bengali. So then he asked me our names. So here is T Krishnan, T Krishnamurthy. That was easy. Next was Kalyana Sundaram. Okay, managed to get it out. And next one is Balasubramania Sarma. So the room was full of
Madrasis.
Anyway, it was friendly. And we had these teachers, C.R. Rao, Sujit Mitra, D. Basu, of course, Bahadur.
Was D. Basu the dean at that time?
No, there was no dean at that time.
Okay.
It's a small CR has to take care of.
Yeah.
Even the fines and everything.
Okay.
Collecting 5 rupee fine for non-attending class. And the thing that sort of excited me was that here is Sujit Mitra, CR Rao will teach me something. And I had fascination for libraries, even if we don't understand anything. Our classes were on the 3rd floor. The library was on the 4th floor.
Right.
It is one flight of stairs. Go there and there's a beautiful library. Not that period. And all the books were there. And
books and journals and everything.
I look at a journal, and the Sujit Mitra who taught us randomized block design would have written a
paper like that.
looking paper there. And so all our teachers are filling those international journals with articles with so it's something that is terribly exciting. Maybe one day I will also write a paper. So it's very exciting. And then these visitors, a fisher one day, Shuhat another day, and so on. And Mahalanobis is such an egalitarian person that he will invite students also for the arrival parties, welcome parties.
I see.
Then in the lawn there will be Shigada and Sandesh and so on. We partake in that. They can even speak to fisher. I mean, he would like to speak to students and so on speak. And then for their farewell, there will be another Shigada. It's an exciting place. We learned a lot.
So after that, you joined ISI for your PhD.
Yeah, right. No, there was an intermediate thing where I wanted a job in the center. I had no intention of it. I didn't think that I was a PhD material or anything, whatever it meant.
So you didn't want to be an academic?
No. I went and did a job with a demographer in Chennai. One of the horrible jobs I had. It was very conducive. It offered me 175 rupees monthly. And then he would go away here and there. And how do I know you worked when I was not there? So deduct salary for that. And so then I wanted to leave, and he threatened me saying that I will tell C.R. Rao if you leave. You stole something from a library, whatever. So I didn't know how to get out of this. Finally, I had to get out. Then I went to National Council of Applied Economic Research.
NCERT.
And I thought I'd get a statistician. I was very fascinated by data analysis, even during classes. And so instead of giving me analytical work, they had sent me on field work, so I left. And then wrote to Dr. Rao saying that these 2 jobs were hopeless and could you take me back? So he offered me. So at that time they opened a center in Chennai, yet another center in 1960, 61. So they said, why don't you go and teach there for a while so I taught there for a while and then went to Calcutta.
Okay.
And so actually, in retrospect, I would have just enjoyed the kind of work that I do now. I mean, in music and so on. Use the knowledge of that kind that we have really been instilled into. So I was very much, I was the only one in my class who would complete all those practicals.
I see.
So for maximum likely estimates, iteration procedure, you have to see that the estimates...
Most of us hated that stuff.
Yes, and everybody would leave at 2:30 and so on. I would sit at up to 5:36 whenever the maximum likely estimates converged. So I felt excited about that, and so I would do that.
What did you do your PhD? What was your PhD topic?
PhD was some kind of an interface between computer science and statistics, discriminant analysis. My thesis was on the topic of discriminant analysis of, if you like, supervised pattern recognition for dichotomous observations. So p-dimensional 0-1 observations. Then Bahadur had developed a model for this, dependent, obviously, otherwise it's not much to do. A model for this which simplified a very general framework for joint distribution of P dichotomous variables. So I
Right.
used that to connect it with what is called switching theory in computer science. So and borrowed results from here and there and so on. Developed a method of this.
So that was ahead of the time at that time.
Much ahead of time. At that time, these terms are not even coined and so on. So that fairly easy, and I did. The thing that got my PhD was that the paper was published in IEEE Transactions, so nobody else needed to have a look at that and so on. So when the Dr. Rao said, "Oh, you got it published," signed it, and so
that was it.
So that was my thesis.
Yeah.
Okay, not very proud of it, but it was good enough for to get an ISI PhD and so on.
Well, ISI PhD is not nothing to.
No, but rather
Of course.
Okay, anyway, I was happy with that, and my referees were happy with that. So I got PhD. And by then, I had already got a position in ISI.
Okay.
JRO
In what division did you?
At
that time?
No, at that time there was no clear division.
Okay.
The computer science unit was just forming.
Okay.
JRO is the one who pushed my case and so on. So JRO is, in some sense, is more for form than content, if you know what I mean. So some of these things I do, things very neat and so on. So as a student, we are all supposed to keep a practical record. You know, this problem, data, analysis, interpretation, so I'm supposed to write all that. Nobody else in my class will write. So I'll have a beautiful file with that. So one day Dr. Rao came and asked, so yesterday I was discussing that Hiroshima bomb case, analysis of variance. What have you got? Everybody just blinked. Krishnan said, I gave him the notebook. He opened it. Fabulous, he said, and then said, I am instituting a prize for practical record. Okay, so I was very good at that, and so I wish I had, at that time itself, I had anyway, JROI saw that. JROI, so this sort of thing excites JROI. So I was doing a Fortran course with JROI as a research scholar, and so JROI gave us one of the projects was fitting a normal distribution to data.
Okay.
So you get data, you find the mean and standard deviation, then use that to compute, etc., the chi-square test and so on.
Right.
So that is a program I wrote in Fortran. Not a very difficult program. I wrote that, and in the
from scratch. From scratch.
And for the normal integral, you have to use a rational function approximation and things like that. It was a reasonable project for that level. But the point that they got JROI was that the thing was fitting normal distribution. So the acronym was F5ND.
Fine.
That's what excited JROI than the actual program and so on. So he's very good, he's going to be a computer scientist programmer and so on. So he gave me a senior lecturer job halfway through my PhD. So already had a job and then eventually I got a promotion to assistant professor, and after a long time got a promotion to full professorship and so on.
So how long did you work in ISI?
Well, if you count from the day I stepped in to the day I stepped out, it's 40 years. 40.
So you spent an entire lifetime in And then I remember when you were just about to retire from ISI, I happened to be in the ISI Alumni Association meeting, and you were there too, and you said you were going to work for an insurance company in Chennai or something.
That's right, not quite an insurance company. There was a person who had got a PhD in financial mathematics from Florida, somebody. He belongs to this Chettiar family, this big and such speaker who started it. So through Rajiv and Seshadri, I just come from Australia after retirement, I would visit Australia, come back. So he wanted somebody to develop courses for him. So I joined him. It's not much of a salary or anything, but I had retired and so on. Didn't need that much money. So I used to go there to Santom to his office, and I read books on insurance and look up courses in the Institute of Actuaries and the Society for Actuaries and so on,
in India.
And find out what to do and so on, and read up myself. That's one fat book on insurance mathematics. I quite enjoyed that like that. Anyway, so I developed these courses. And
that's the Bowers et al. Book.
Which one?
Bowers is actually mathematics.
Yeah,
yes, that's the Bible for all the actuaries.
Very nice book, yeah. Then I was prepared to teach them all. And then, so I told the gentleman, look, if you want to develop the institute, you have to offer courses to people, and only after establishing that you can get them passed.
Yeah.
No, I can't afford it, and so on. So anyway, so it took me along to all these insurance companies, Sundaram, and said, we are starting a course, will you depute candidates, and you want to charge 6,000 rupees fees and so on, and what are your credentials? Here is one professor from ISI. So I didn't have any credentials in actuaries, statistics.
Right.
Anyway, so nobody came along. I said, look, for at least one semester, 3 courses, 3 very basic courses for the society, and some elementary statistics,
and statistics,
economics, If you do that and show that these candidates can pass, if they pass, they will get at least an ordinary job in actuary companies. No, if I start that, I will charge 6,000 rupees per course, per candidate. So if you do 3 courses in one semester, 18,000 rupees, who will
upfront?
Pay for a thing which is not even known. So it sort of collapsed on its own weight. And then I got this call from Crane Software.
I see. How did that come about?
Oh, well, I know. Crane Software is developing Instat, as you know. They just purchased. And they're making do with 4 B.Techs in chemical engineering and such who didn't know anything about this. And it took them quite some time to realize that it's a topic by itself one has to. So they called the ISI, and I think it was the Mohan Delambadi got me into the, just arrived back from Australia, asked him so on. So they called me, and I had no great desire to go to Bangalore. I was sort of settled in Chennai. And Sitaram in Bangalore said, well, why don't you just stay with us and look up? You don't have to do anything, don't have to accept that and so on. That led to another, the job description appeared interesting. So I said okay, and so...
You stayed there for quite some time.
Sorry?
You stayed at Sistat for quite some time. 8 years. Okay.
It's a very long time. Well, there were good times and bad times and so on.
I still have fond memories of looking out of your balcony and looking out at the old airport.
Yeah, the place was nice, and the office was nice. And the first few, the problem was that the company had just borrowed heavily from. They used to buy new companies, that companies, and try to, but the next step they did not take. They never really improved things. Sistat was just breaking even, not making huge profits at that time. But then its reviews continued to be good. Devoted users continued to use that and so on. And but then Asif Kader, who was the CEO, would say that product development is only 30% development, 70% is marketing and sales. But the company never really bothered too much about marketing and sales. And 90% of the effort was in this. Not good enough to sell. I see Mu Sigma and such other companies who...
Then after working in Sistat, then you went on to...
I went to, for a short period, to my bioinformatics company called Strand Life Sciences.
Okay.
It was in Hebal, very far from where I lived. I didn't want to change my home. That was very interesting. But then I had a weakness of I didn't understand the biology behind bioinformatics. I struggled for a while. Statistics was all right, but then it's not something that you could do profitably without understanding the biology and so on. I tried, and what all I could do was to interpret the statistics that comes out of it. And if they had some new method that's published in a paper, try and explain that and so on. And then give courses there too. So that way it was okay, but the...
Let me back up a bit and let's talk about your Australia visit and your book on YAML algorithm.
Oh, well, okay. So this started when...
But you are still working in pattern recognition.
That's right. So actually YAML algorithm was something that I might say I myself discovered when CR had given, I don't know if you remember, OAB blood group problem, which is the first problem that's quoted in any discussion of YAML algorithm. It is a typical but simple example of that.
Right.
So when Dr. Rao had given us the maximum likelihood problem, so I as usual, I stayed until 6 o'clock until the PQR estimates converged. And so in the process, I discovered that if you fill in so-called missing values and you get estimates quickly, and in 2 steps I got that, and I got the same results that I got at
I see.
And I didn't have the courage to say that I discovered something else. So I was convinced. And the first paper I wrote in the Annals of Statistical Mathematics, Tokyo Journal, it had a version of the EM algorithm built in without knowing what it is. But I didn't have a general formulation or anything. So when the thing came about, became very popular, I was fascinated by it. So when I made a trip for a few months to New Zealand for a statistics teaching course, then visited Auckland and Hamilton, and then Brisbane and Sydney and Perth. So in all these places, I had the same thing, EM algorithm as mine. Some variations of that. If they asked me to give 2 lectures, I would have the second lecture and so on. In Brisbane, I gave an elaborate setup. Everywhere, the audience would, I had good audience because that's a subject which everybody wanted to know about. Being applied everywhere, they would see it, but they would not know what it is. So that way my lectures went down well, and I had enough information there about what it is. So they asked, is there a write-up on this? So I sent them my presentations and so on. And then Jeff McLaughlin suggested, why don't we just write it up, whatever you have. So if I had written it in 1990, in a few months' time, it should have been a slim 100-page volume. I would probably have had the same effect as now. And I did not...
No, but wait. Let me go back to this EM algorithm book. You know, I looked it up the other day. It had 5,662 citations. I mean, to give you a dimension of the problem, C.R. Rao's book has 13,000, so it's half of that, which is, a huge number.
I had to read most of it. So 1990, there were not that many. So it started because we immediately wrote to Wiley and we got the contract and so on. The contract is mainly because of Jeff's name. My name is almost unknown. And Jeff's known is well known, and he had written books for Wiley and so on. So they together with Jeff insisted that his name should come first. I don't regret that, it's okay by me. And I wrote half, just slightly more than half, he wrote more than half. That went off well, but then as we were writing, as I was back in ISI and teaching and everything else, so we have full time. But I was reading new material and so on, and there was never an end to that. So I was writing the whole of the 6 years, whole thing, so that's all for other And 96 it converged. By then the subject
has exploded.
And so at one time it said we stopped here and so on. 96 we submitted, and at the end of 96 it was published. And it went down very well, and they still get money for that.
You had a second edition too?
We had second edition, which is as good as 2000. If first edition is available, I suggest anybody wants to buy it. The second edition I wrote when I was in pains up to my neck in work and so on. So not very satisfactory. On whole chapter, which was main theme, which was Monte Carlo versions of the EM. But that didn't come through as well as it should have been. But anyway, it's sort of okay. It is also selling, but well, let's see. So the last part of my academic life has almost entirely spent on the EM algorithm.
And then after working with the biotech thing, then what did you do?
Then I joined Mu Sigma.
Okay.
Mu Sigma, I joined 2010. And so I'm still there. So last year, last year I was 76, now 77. My niece and such other families said, you can't live alone anymore. If you fall ill, who will look after you and so on. Sort of convinced, I was not completely convinced, but so I fell for that and then shifted to Chennai. When I told my boss in Mu Sigma, I said, well, you can go, but you continue to work for us from home. Whatever you can do from home is good enough and so on. So I work from home.
Do you plan to keep working?
I plan to keep working. So even this sort of is not sufficiently. I would like to be in an environment where there are other people around to take a coffee break, gossip, and maybe discuss technical things, or students, etc. So sitting 24 hours at home is not a solution to this. And I also teach at the Indian School of Business regularly. They have a business analytics program, a standard program for working.
So you go to Hyderabad especially for that?
2-3 months and teach 1 week and so on.
I see.
That's interesting because they are actually practitioners at a very high level. And they find it difficult to deal with highly technical matters, but for problem solutions and so on. So many of them said that can we talk to you when some of them are Chennai based, can we ask you some questions and so on. I said, yes, so long as they don't take money, music market. So that keeps me sometimes going and so on. They send me an email, I'll drop in and ask questions.
Do you still get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out?
I do, yeah.
How do you get so much energy? I mean, if I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have to take a nap.
No, but
I'm not even 60.
I go to bed at 9:30, like. So the only program I watch regularly on TV is Boston Legal. I had a horrible program, but I can't help watching that. And watch that. And after that, get prepare for bed at 9:30. I'm in bed. 9:30 to 3:45, 4. I sleep. So
For me, that's not enough sleep. I need my 8 hours of sleep.
I can also sleep sitting in a sofa and so on, take a nap and so on. At work, I can do that. Also. So that doesn't bother me very much. But my gym opens at 5 o'clock. So get up at 4, get ready at 4:30, walk for 15-20 minutes to the gym.
Yeah.
And 5 o'clock they open. Sometimes few minutes before that. I was the first one. And so I get into my treadmill and stay there for an hour and a half or 2 and then do other exercises. By 5:15, many people come. So Chennai wakes up very early. By 4:30 they're already making noise.
Well, the sun rises here earlier than...
Exactly, but even considering that, Calcutta too is
True.
Yeah. So people come and then I make friends. I don't talk to anybody when I am exercising. But after that, I take a break and read the newspaper and so on. And then 7:15 I go to the Vasanta Bhavan or hot chips and have breakfast and then go home and get ready and start my day by 8:15 and so on. So open Music My email, there will be a few queries to answer.
Yeah.
And Music My also asked me to write things for them. So they have a monthly thing called Conjoined where I contribute one article.
I see.
And one of the
So you have a long-standing interest in music as well, right?
Oh yes, for a long time. My collection is huge. I have not added much there. So I have an iPod and it is 160 GB. I have 2,500 hours of music. And I am gradually putting that music into iPod and so on. Mostly Hindustani classical music, and some Carnatic and quite a lot of Western classical.
But did you actually play music at some time?
No. I never actually learned formally, but it's all here. And maybe one day I should learn to bring it out. And so on. No, when I was leaving Music Bar, there was a farewell party, and then my niece was here, in whose house I live. She was invited for that, and Sitaram and his wife were invited. And the CEO asked my niece, what is your uncle going to do when he retires? He's going to learn keyboard, she said. And so I got a gift card from the HDFC Bank.
So buying a keyboard.
So I was obliged to buy a keyboard. And I just
Are you practicing?
Just started. It's not easy, but one day I'll get there. So that way I may have an opportunity to express the music.
That's great. Maybe you'll have a third career after academic and then commercial world and then the music career.
The CEO said when he gave this, so when you visit Music Bar next, I've done many times now.
You have to do a concert. That would be great. Thanks very much.